4-minute speech. Just by a show of hands, who here today has a phone with you guys? A cell phone. Alright, so many of us do not know that when we make a phone call, we send a text, the person on the other side that we're sending the calling is not the only one listening to our conversations. The question is, who is listening to our conversation? The government. As I speak right now, it is possible that the government is also listening to what I'm saying, and it's spying on us. The government knows much more about us than we can ever imagine. The government has the ability to track down our phones, get into our personal emails, and listen to our phone calls. As citizens of the United States, we have the right to know what our government is doing. Doing my research on the government, how the government is watching us, I also found textual evidence to say that the government is not the only one watching us. Corporations also spy on people. Corporations, for example, Target. Learning about how the government and corporations spy on us and how much privacy we have will help us decide what information we choose to share online and anything that involves technology. First, I will share with you how corporations like Target spy on people. Second, how the government watches us. And finally, what results we get from this surveillance. So first, why would corporations be interested in spying on people? In order to understand why corporations are so interested in knowing so much about their customers, we must first know how corporations spy on us. According to the article in New York Times, How Companies Know Your Secrets, posted by Charles Duhigg on February 16, 2012, Target now has the ability to know what their customers' next move will be before you do. So how does Target spy on their customers? Target studies their customers' shopping habits. Andrew Poe works as a statistician at Target, and he states that Target assigns each shopper a guest ID number, and if you use a credit card or a coupon or fill out a survey, we'll record it and link it to your guest ID. This is how Target figures out what customers are interested in. Duhigg informs us that there is a study that shows that 40 to 45% of our choices in our everyday life is a habit. So that's why Target tends to spy more on people that they believe will soon start a new shopping habit. Duhigg says consumers going through major life events often don't notice or care that their shopping habits have shifted, but retailers notice and they care quite a bit. Examples of a major life event would be when a couple are expecting a child. The article explains that the reason why businesses care so much about pregnant women is because that's their opportunity to make their big bucks. People with new babies are too tired to be going around in different stores, so businesses realize that if they can get the parents to shop at their stores and buy baby supplies, then there's a higher possibility that these parents will buy other supplies they need as well. And the goal here is to make the customers return. Now that we have discussed how corporations spy on us, let's move to our second point. Who else is watching us? The government. I will discuss how everyone is under government surveillance. According to the text, the internet is a surveillance state by Bruce Schneier. The internet is a surveillance state. Whether we admit it to ourselves or not, or whether we like it or not, we're being tracked all the time. Every website we use or anything we do in the internet is being tracked. Hiding anything from the government can be nearly impossible. Because our phone calls and emails are tracked, Schneier states that all major companies that provide us with internet services are interested in tracking us. Now that we know that we do not have an option to choose if we want to be protected by the law or not, I will explain how cell phone lines cooperate with the government. People who carry AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint cell phones can be tracked immediately. In the text, the Snitch in Your Pocket by journalist Michael Isikoff, he explains how the cell phone tracking is possible because the phones carry a little tiny GPS inside of it that tracks a cell phone, or possibly each phone call is sent through towers that can be used to pinpoint a phone's location. Now the FBI is also using this technique. After explaining how the government spies on us, I will also explain what results we get from all of this surveillance. While it may seem like the only thing that the government is doing is following our every steps, the previous study research forces us to examine and ask ourselves, is there any benefit to this surveillance? Now I'll explain what benefits this surveillance gives us. Cell phone tracking and all this spying are powerful weapons for the government, especially for law enforcement. Isikoff states that in his text that Jack Kilrain, who directs a federal task force in Atlanta combating the drug trade, says cell phone records have helped his agents crack many cases. Kilrain also states that tracking cell phones is a tremendous investigative tool. And in the fall of 2008, his agents were able to follow a Mexican drug cartel carrying 2,200 kilograms of cocaine. By watching in real time as the driver's cell phone shook hands with each cell phone tower it passed on the highway. This information is an example of how helpful it is for the law enforcement to track cell phones in situations like this. In conclusion, I want to explain the results we get from the alliance between the government and corporates. Corporates often obtain our personal information and share it with the law. For example, Isikoff also states that Sprint Nexo has even set up a dedicated website so that so that the law enforcement agents can access the records from their desk. So they don't really have to do much. They can just be on their desk and be accessing into our personal information. With all this information, we now know that wherever we are not alone. At the same time, we also know that we are more protected from terrorists and criminals. So that's kind of the benefits from that. Now we have a better understanding of how our government and corporates are always watching us. First, I described how corporates like Target are watching our every moves. Then I discussed how the government is also spying on us. And finally, I spoke about what results we obtain from this surveillance. Next time we buy something at Target, we might want to pay with cash. And just definitely be sure that whatever we post online, it's something we're okay with other people watching.